Hello. Today's lesson is chocolate chip cookies. We're going to use the creaming method for chocolate chip cookies. And remember that baking is a science and cooking is an art. So we have to follow very strict formulas in our baking processes. So what we're going to do first, we're going to take the butter or the fat. We could use shortening if we wanted to. We're going to take the fat, we're going to put it in the mixer, and we're going to cream it until it's smooth. Now remember, with cookies, one of the things we don't want to do is we don't want to overmix the dough, because what happens is we're creating gluten in the flour and the cookie won't be soft and tender. The second thing that happens when we overmix cookies is the flour, when it forms gluten, it will also tend to spread and not be a nice, soft cookie. So we'll shut the mixer off. We're going to add the sugar. And right now we have white and brown sugar. And we missed a little. It's okay. So I'm going to start the mixer slow, just to get it incorporated. And then what we're going to do is we have to stop the mixer to put it into second gear. Now once we get it started, we'll shut the mixer down. We'll scrape down the beaters in the bowl. Because we want is a really nice, smooth batter, and we have to have all the ingredients evenly blended. Now once the fat and the sugar are nice and smooth, what we're going to do is we're going to take our vanilla and our eggs. We're going to mix it together. We don't have to overmix it. We'll let the mixer do the work for us. And we're going to add the eggs in 3 additions. One of the wonderful things about these mixers, they actually have a slot right here to add our liquid. So I never even have to shut off my mixer. Please. Once we add the eggs and the vanilla, we're going to stop the mixer again, and we always stop it for safety, of course. Take the guard away. And you'll notice that what happens is the eggs are not a nice cohesive mix with the fat and the sugar. And the reason is it's sort of like mixing oil and water. That's the reason. But what we're going to use is we're going to use our flour mix to make it so it's a nice smooth mix. Now why we choose the creaming method is 70% of our baking formulas use creaming as the method. So that's why we're starting with this method. I'm going to stop. What I have here, this is a mix of salt, baking powder, and flour, and we're going to add this in all at once. One of the things we have to make sure is during the entire process, we make sure that we work professionally and cleaned and sanitary. And it may not look it, but it's hard to get all these things in one little mixer. We want to make sure it's on speed 1, because if it was on speed 2 or 3, we'd have a disaster. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to start incorporating this slowly by pulsing the mixer. And you'll see this comes together fairly quickly. Okay, now once the mix comes together, we don't want to over-mix this, or again, the cookie becomes tough because we're forming the gluten. So all we want to do is scrape it down just enough to make sure that the ingredients are very, very well incorporated. And again, we're going to leave the mixer on slow. Now once this mix is nice and smooth, we're going to take it off the mixer to put the chocolate chips in. If I leave it on the mixer to put the chocolate chips in and I overmix it, we're going to break the chocolate and we're not going to have a nice blonde cookie with bits of chocolate. And you can see we have a very nice smooth mix. It's going to be very easy to work with this. And again, the best tool is my hands, because I don't ever have to look for it. It's always clean, of course, and I don't lose them. Basically, we're going to add our chocolate chips. And we're going to hand mix the chocolate into it. And that's our chocolate chip cookie recipe.